to the TV. Welcome everyone, and how you doing? It's a hell of a day already. I am JT, aka the Master, and this is, as you see in the back, For No Reason Fantasy Football. We got a great show in store for you today. I'm a lone ranger today. I'm all by myself, which is no problem. I never have a problem. I maybe I can get more things done. I don't know. We'll see. Mr. FSP is not with me. That's okay. Uh, it's expected. He had his show yesterday, which is 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, X, and Facebook, and also other platforms. And but this is my show right here, and we're talking about fantasy wide receiver rankings. We're going to talk about rankings. I talked last week about quarterbacks, and also said I gave you a little tidbit about mixing a little bit, just a small amount of fantasy preparation for your draft. Last week was uh, understand or know your settings, whether it's a two quarterback, one quarterback, how many running backs, wide receivers, or tight ends, what kind of scoring you get for them. Is it a half PPR, which is points per reception? Is it full PPR, which is it half or 1 full point, or even is it something exotic? I would say exotic, but something uh giving a point and a half for a catch from the tight end. There's leagues and options in those leagues that have that option. Okay, I mean, there's leagues that have that option. I'm sorry, I'm double saying what I'm trying to explain. Anyway, I said check your settings last week. Okay, this week I'm going to say don't drink and draft. You need a clear mind to draft and make sure that you have no roadblocks in what you want to do in your fantasy draft. Have a clear mind. Don't drink and draft. You have plenty of time after the fact, after you draft, that you can have an alcohol beverage or two. But don't do it while the draft is, because that can influence, good and bad, how you draft. So don't do it. Now, this week, as I said, quarterback was last week. This week is wide receivers. Next week is tight ends. And the last one I'm going to round it off with is the running backs. I do that every year. I always end up in my last rankings of running backs. I got to see all through training camp and guys getting hurt, and that makes a difference. Guys getting hurt. Okay. We had a named wide receiver get hurt, and he's going to miss some time with a shoulder injury. And I'm talking about Marquise Brown. Okay. That bumps up Xavier Worthy. That bumps up a big time Xavier Worthy. But he's not in my top 25. But he is draftable. Absolutely, he is draftable. I said, I've been saying it. I've been preaching to the choir ever since the combine, or before the combine. No, ever since the combine. When he ran that 4.21, I said this is a perfect fit for the Kansas City Chiefs. And what happened? Kansas City made a trade, moved up into the first round, a couple spots, and grabbed Xavier Worthy. People, I don't just spout things just to spout them. I'm trying to help you here. I'm trying to help. I may get things wrong, but I can hit a home run at any time. A home run anytime. I may hit a lot of singles or even strike out, okay, or ground out, whatever you want to call it. But that home run is coming. That home run is coming. And I've been hitting a lot of home runs lately, people. I'm not touting myself, but I'm touting myself, okay? Xavier Worthy, in my opinion, outside of injury, because anybody can get hurt, is a big time pickup for you. I'm in sleeper in 3 leagues in sleeper, and they've had slow drafts. Slow drafts. I decided to try sleeper out again. I haven't tried it in a few years. Someone in one of my Facebook groups tagged me and said, would I join? And then one thing led to another. Now I'm in 3 sleeper leagues. Okay, that's fine. I'm just praying. All 3 leagues, I have Xavier Worthy. All 3 leagues, I have Xavier Worthy. Oh, I don't have Marquise Brown. I have Xavier Worthy. Okay, so I put my actions where my mouth is. Well, I what I say is what I do. Let me put it that way. All 3 leagues, I have Xavier Worthy, but he's not my top 25. He may move up because of the injury, but he's not right now in my top 25. Big time player with a big time quarterback can have big time results. Okay, because he's going to get more opportunities now than Marquise Brown and Andy Reid, the head coach the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs already said Marquise Brown is going to miss some time. So I don't foresee him, being ready for week 1. Week 1 is less than a month away. Week 1, where they play Baltimore. Less than a month away. Don't see Marquise Brown being available. Okay? So let's get to the business at hand, people. Let's get to the business at hand. Okay? Knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. You heard that from Jameis Winston. Jameis is the jokester. What I have here, people, is I'm going to rank, starting from 25, going all the way up to 1. I'm going to give you an even better tidbit, okay? Last week, I gave you quarterbacks with strength of schedule stars next to them, starting at 1 to 5. There were some 5s, okay? 4s, 3s. 1 is a bad schedule. 2 is bad schedule. Not as bad as 1, quite naturally. 3 is an average schedule. 4 is a good schedule. And 5, quite naturally, is a great schedule. Okay? Great schedule for whatever position in fantasy that it is. There were very few 5s, if any. Okay? And I'll show you this real quick. These are the quarterbacks, and then we'll get to the wide receivers. Okay? Derek Carr had a 4. Will Levis had a 5. Trevor Lawrence had a 5. Jared Goff had a 4. Matthew Stafford a 4. Caleb Williams has a 4. Okay? That's of the between 14 and 25. Okay? Let's go to the top 13. Allen, I got him as a 1, and he's got a 1 star. He's got a bad schedule for quarterbacks, along with Jalen Hurts, who's got only a 2. Pat Mahomes has a 3, which is average. Lamar Jackson has got a good schedule for 4. Anthony Richardson has a great schedule. 5. You don't see that too often. He's got a 5. And as you can see, Jordan Love has a 5. Okay? But there's only 2s and 3s for the most part. And only 1 4 within the top 13 players. Okay? I'm going to match those because I have 4 decent matchups that you can stack the quarterback, the wide receiver. Okay? That if you get the quarterback first or you get the wide receiver first, you may want to try to get the If you get the quarterback first, you may want to try to get the wide receiver. Or if you get the wide receiver, you may want to get the quarterback. Okay. So I'm gonna help you out here. I got 4 with one having 2 options, which will give you more options. I'll say that in the wide receiver position. So let's go and check this out at number 25. Number 25, I got Amari Cooper with 3 stars. Amari Cooper has season-long stats that were notable despite shifting quarterbacks, ranking 10th in yards, which he had at 1,250, and second in 20-yard gains, which he had 42. That's nice. His 41% air yard share also ranked 10th in the league. Well, he finished 17th in points per game, which is 12.7. As the wide receiver 18 overall through 17 games. His performance with Deshaun Watson as quarterback offers promise. During these 5 games, he maintained a 23% target share, 42% air yard share, averaging nearly 100 receiving yards a game. So even though I don't have Deshaun Watson and Amari Cooper in my list of stacks, because if you see where I have Watson is in here, and he has 4 stars, okay? And so this is a nice stack. This is the first of a nice stack. Watson has 4, and Amari Cooper has a 3, okay? So it's a good schedule. It's not great. It's not absolutely fantastic, but it's a good schedule to get decent fantasy points. And as you can see, his fantasy output was also strong, averaging 14.8 points per game, which was 6th, and 15.7 expected points per game, which was 15th. Even with the addition of Jerry Jeudy, Cooper remains the one for the Browns, quite naturally. Okay. And the strength of schedule is a 3. If you happen to get to the playoffs, his strength of schedule is also a 3. Okay? So that's a nice stack right there. Right off the bat, I'm hitting you with a stack. Okay? Deshaun Watson, which a lot of people are down on. Okay, I understand that. But he had the favorable schedule. He has a good schedule. He had the 4. I showed you that. He has a 4. Okay? And if you know you can get Deshaun Watson late. Come on, man. People are down on him. People just don't trust him. I understand that. But if in a 2-quarterback league, I'd definitely take a shot on him. Definitely, without a shadow of a doubt. With a 4 and Amari with a 3, both of them on positive side of a strength of schedule. Hell yeah. And we have 24. We got Stephon Diggs. He's got a 3. He's got decent, not great. And the reason why I don't have CJ Stroud only has a 2. So he's got a bad schedule. Stephon Diggs has a average schedule. Okay. It's not great. It's not bad. It's somewhere in the middle. Okay. And the outlook, Stephon Diggs faced the challenging 2023 season, finishing as the wide receiver 10. He was up and down and a lot of down, but averaging just 13 points per game, landing him as the wide receiver 15 in half-point scoring. His performance waned significantly from week 10 on, averaging a mere 7.3 points. Yeah, he was bad. And 42 yards per game, despite maintaining a nearly 30% target share and accumulating over 1,800 air yards for the season. Diggs struggled to deliver consistent fantasy production with uncertainty surrounding his role in the Texans offense and competition from Tank Dell and Nico Collins. Fantasy managers may approach Diggs with caution, entering his age 31. He's the old OG in that wide receiver room. He's an OG in a wide receiver room. and you don't know what you're going to get. I stated this weeks ago. I got two issues, two different teams, and one for each team. One with the Chicago Bears, the other one with the Houston Texans. Who's the dog? Who's the number one dog in there? Okay. You got three wide receivers, three name wide receivers. Chicago, you got Moore, you got Allen, and you got Odunze. Okay, the rookie. In Houston, you got Tank Dell, and not necessarily in this order. Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and Stephon Diggs. Who's the lead dog? I think, you know what? I think that's going to be week to week. Okay. And if you happen, quite naturally, most people don't have all three wide receivers on the team, and don't have a crystal ball on what wide receiver is going to get the best of in fantasy points each week. It's a coin toss. It's a coin toss. And I'm not willing to do that. I'm not going to give you that. I'll give you the information, but I can't make a recommendation that you should grab Stephon Diggs, who's always been a number one. You should grab Tank Dell, or you should grab Nico Collins. CJ Stroud shared the ball. He'll pass the ball around. So, okay, you concentrate the defense on Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, and Nico Collins are going to benefit from that. Or you stress, okay, we're going to stop Nico Collins. Then it's going to be Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell. Or we're going to make sure Tank Dell doesn't go off. Then you have Nico Collins and Stephon Diggs to deal with. Okay? But no one has all three. And no one knows, like I said, no one knows who's going to be the league dog week to week. Okay? So I have Stephon Diggs at number 3, which is a good schedule, but I don't have his quarterback that you need to stack. And this year, in my opinion, is a good year to stack. Take a quarterback with a favorable schedule, take a wide receiver with also a favorable schedule, and put them together. Okay? Put them together. I tell you, that's what I'm going to do. Without a shadow of a doubt. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Okay? And I got the information. I'm sharing this information with you people. Like I said, no wide receiver has a 1. Okay? They have 2s, 3s, and 4s, and no wide receiver that I've seen has a 5. Okay? But 3s and 4s are favorable schedules. Good and very good. Okay? And you match them up with a quarterback that's got a really good schedule. That's fantasy gold, people. That's fantasy gold. Okay? All right, let's move on to, as you can see, I got Malik Neighbors. And quite naturally, I do not like Daniel Jones. Malik Neighbors had a average wide receiver schedule. Okay. And I think he's going to have good weeks, bad weeks. Quite naturally, the quarterback is going to hinder him. In my opinion, he's going to hinder him big time. And he had a hell of a season at LSU. 86 receptions, 1,546 yards, and 14 touchdowns during his junior year. And he had 30%, over 30% target share. Over his collegiate career, he totaled 186 receptions, almost 3,000 yards, and 21 touchdowns. And he had a hell of a career. Neighbor broke out as a freshman at 18. indicating significant potential for early professional success. Now with the New York Giants, he is poised to become the team's top wide receiver from the outset. His ability to generate yards after the catch, for those that don't know, yak, yards after catch, reassures concerns about the team's quarterback situation, enhancing his fantasy value. Now, I like Malik Neighbors, but I think because of the quarterback, he's going to have inconsistent play. But the talent is there, people. The talent is there. He's got a 3, which is a favorable schedule, even though the quarterback is going to probably hold him back, in my opinion. I like him a lot. Let's move on to this another kid. And that's Devontae Smith, who's dealing with a 2, okay? As he's got a difficult schedule, okay? He's got a difficult, but he showcased his ability to thrive in the absence of key teammates like A.J. Brown or Dallas Goedert over the past 2 seasons. During week 11 to 18, this season, he ranked as wide receiver 16. I have him at 22 right now. And he averaged 13.6 points per game. However, prior to week 11, he was wide receiver 25 overall with a 10.9 points per game. That's not bad, but it's not. I mean, those 3 points make a difference. So 1.7 makes a difference. Let me put it that way. Or 2.7 makes a difference. He's got a lot of talent, but for him to reach fantasy wide receiver status, others in the league passing game may need to scale back their production. Overall, he finished the year 20th in points per game, which was 12.2, with a 24% target share. Okay. Hopefully, with Kellen Moore as an OC and Jalen Hurts being more on page with Kellen Moore, that the 2 wide receivers out of Philly can get better production. But he's got it too. And Jalen Hurts has it too. So they have overall, they have a bad schedule. But I like Devontae Smith at number 22. At number 21, he would have moved up in my rankings if his wide receiver buddy had been traded away. But Debo is at number 21. Okay? He's at number 21. Now, I see him last season as a wide receiver 12, despite playing 15 games. He always misses games, people. He always misses games. He scored the second most total touchdowns, which was 12. And to me, he's really touchdown reliant. With his dual role as a rusher and receiver, Samuel also led all wide receivers in total red zone touches. That's what I'm saying. He's strictly, I wouldn't say strictly, but he relies heavily in catching touchdown passes. His injury history raises concerns due to his physical playing style. There's potential for touchdown regression given his performance exceeded expectations in the previous season, ranking as wide receiver 26 in expected points per game. Moreover, relying on the rushing production can be unpredictable year to year. And the emergence, like I said, of Brandon Ayuk further complicates Samuel's outlook as he enters a contract year. All right. Most players, when they enter a contract year, try to exceed that. He has a 2. His quarterback has a 2 also. So they're going into the season with a difficult passing schedule. Okay. DK Metcalf is my number 20, and I have him as a 3. And quite naturally, I don't have Geno Smith. I have Geno Smith also as a 3. Okay. So they have an average passing schedule, which these 2, you know what? Let me put it this way. All 3 of these wide receivers have a 3. Okay. Jackson Smith, Enigma, Tyler Lockett, and DK Metcalf, along with Geno Smith having also 3. I tell you this. Geno Smith in that offense, who's run by the coordinator who comes from Washington University, who is a very pass-happy offense. This is a stack. This is a stack. Okay? 2 quarterback leagues. You got Geno Smith. Put him in there with one of those Seattle Seahawks wide receivers. Why not? They're going to be throwing the ball a lot. It's going to be more wide open than it was with Pete Carroll and company last season and the season before that. They're going to be throwing the ball. Geno likes to get the ball down the field, a la Jackson Smith-Njigba, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf. Okay. They don't have a bad schedule. They have an average schedule, which is fine. Average, it beats bad and really bad. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. And we're talking about DJ Moore, okay, at number 19, who has a 4. He has a very favorable schedule. And his quarterback also has a 4, Caleb Williams. Now, he's a rookie, okay. But DJ Moore is going to get his fill along with Keenan Allen, and Roma Duze. Okay? They have a favorable schedule. The quarterback has a favorable schedule. Hopefully, he can take advantage of that as a rookie quarterback. Okay? That possibly could be a stack. In the 2 quarterback leagues, that could be a stack. Okay? You want him in your lineup. Okay? Let's move on to number 18. And this is a dual stack. You got options here, and I'm going to explain to you why. All right. I got Cooper Kupp at number 18. Okay. Many will point to the injuries Cooper Kupp has dealt with throughout the season as a reason to be concerned about his moving forward. He hasn't looked like himself all season. He will be 31 in 2024, just like Stephon Diggs. He missed an average of 6 games over the last 2 seasons. So 2 seasons, he missed 3 games. A lot of his, an average, 3 games each. Okay. A lot of his production was salvaged by his 5 receiving touchdowns. He posted a career low yards per route, which was 1.77. Kupp was a wide receiver 27 in points per game in 2023, despite a 26% target share. Okay. Matthew Stafford has a strength of schedule of 4. Puka, who I'm going to talk about also in this list, and Cooper Kupp, who I'm talking about now, have a 3. Okay? For the wide receivers, the strength of schedule is 3, and for the quarterback, the strength of schedule is 4. Easily a stack, people. Easily a stack. You want to stack one of these wide receivers with the quarterback? Have at it. Have at it. I highly recommend it. All right, let's move on to number 17, as you see it here. As you see it here. And I got Nico Collins. Okay. And I don't have him as a stack because you got 3 options. I know I talked about DJ Moore, but their schedule combined with the quarterback is a lot favorable compared to a two for CJ Stroud. As you see right there, he's number 6. CJ Stroud's got a 2 compared to Nico Collins, who has a 3. So I can't recommend that. Okay. I know it's, but because it's going to be inconsistent. You got 3 wide receiver options in the Texans. Is Collins going to be a consistent contributor each week? You don't know that. You don't know that. And his draft capital is probably in the 2nd round. You want to take a 2nd round shot on Nico Collins and not get 2nd round production because of the quarterback not having a favorable schedule? or you want to take that chance and have dud weeks throughout the season? And how many dud weeks, if you get them, is it going to be? That's what I'm talking about. Okay, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So you have to think: do I take a second round pick in Nico Collins, or do I let one of my other league mates take him and let him worry about or complain about where is he at this week? Is he going to get the points I expect from a second round pick or not? I'd rather not take that chance. I'd rather move on to get someone, get some like Jalen Waddle, okay, or Mike Evans, or DJ Moore, or Metcalf, okay, where I have their quarterback who's got also has a favorable strength of schedule. I'd rather take that chance, okay. Speaking of Jalen Waddle, that's my number 16. That's 3 stars and in parentheses. I put a 0 there. Don't pay attention to that. Jalen Waddle only has a 2. He faces a different fantasy draft landscape in 2024, likely drafted later due to a less impressive previous season as a wide receiver 34 and wide receiver 24 in points per game. Despite recording over 1,000 receiving yards in 14 games, his scoring was limited to 4 touchdowns. However, his 24% target share improved efficiency metrics indicate potential for a bounce-back season. I think he's going to have a bounce-back season. Consider a buy low candidate. Waddle's draft position might not reflect his true value. I like Jalen Waddle. There's going to be a lot of attention. It's not like it hasn't been. To Tyreek Hill. I like Jalen Waddle to reap the rewards of defenses concentrating on Tyreek Hill. We go to Mike Evans. Okay. He's got an average schedule. You can pencil in Mike Evans for over 1,000 yards, 10 seasons straight. 10 seasons straight. This is the model of consistency. Whereas quarterback strength of schedule is 2, and that's Baker Mayfield. Mike Evans has 3 as an average strength of schedule. I can't trust Baker Mayfield. When the going get tough, for the most part, Mr. Mayfield, in my opinion, is unreliable. And he's got a 2. He's got a bad strength of schedule for a quarterback. And Evans ranked a wide receiver 4 in 2023. He had 239, a little over 239 fantasy points, which was 14.4 per game, which was the wide receiver 8. He caught 76 passes for 1,233 yards and 13 touchdowns. And he re-signed a 2-year deal with the Buccaneers, keeping his talents in Tampa. He will be 31 in August. He's another wide receiver that's 31. But he has been consistently 10 seasons, people. 10 seasons, Mr. Evans has recorded over 1,000 yards. You know how hard that is to do with the amount of quarterbacks and the offense he's going through and still being able to produce up until this point? Come on, man. You got to 3 out of 3. He's not worth a stack with Baker Mayfield, but he's worth grabbing. He's worth drafting. Mike Evans. At number 15. At number 14, one of my favorite wide receivers, Mr. Brandon Ayuk. A lot of talk about Brandon Ayuk. Is he going to stay with the San Francisco 49ers? They're talking again. Or is he going to move on to another team? The Steelers, perhaps. Maybe the Commanders. Who knows? Maybe it's some unknown team that rises up and he takes a liking to and he jumps. Don't know. But as we speak now, he's with the San Francisco 49ers. His schedule is a 2, which is a bad schedule, but this is Brandon Ayuk, one of the better wide receivers in the NFL. He emerged as the primary receiver of the 49ers in last season, accumulating 1,500 receiving yards and 8 touchdowns in 19 games. Now, he had a modest role in the red zone. He commanded a 24% target share and ranked 15th in air yard share. Okay. Ayuk's efficiency was notable, finishing as the top 5 performer in yards per route run. Entering a contract year at age 26, he may still have untapped potential after back-to-back top 15 wide receiver finishes. I got him at 14 in half PPR formats. He's 26, people. He's a young buck. And I think his arrow is pointing up. I think his arrow is pointing up. I got Brandon Ayuk at number 14. Okay. Brock Purdy against the schedule is a 2. I can't recommend him as a stack. I cannot recommend him as a stack. All right, we finished the first set from 25 to 14. Now we're going to 1 to 13. Okay. Here we go. At number 13, I have Michael Pittman Jr. People, this is a very good stack. Regardless of what you think of Anthony Richardson or Michael Pittman Jr., they have the best combination of wide receiver and quarterback in fantasy. Michael Pittman Jr. has a 4, as you see. As a 4. Anthony Richardson, and I'll give you right now, at number 5, has a 5. He has the easiest schedule against quarterbacks, strength of schedule for quarterbacks. Stack them. What can I tell you? You stack them. If you can get Anthony Richardson and Michael Pittman Jr., you're one step a lot of guys. You're one step. Okay? And that one step can help you win fantasy. Okay? So you want to be able to take advantage of that. A 4 in a wide receiver strength of schedule and a 5, which is the best strength of schedule for any quarterback. Michael Pittman Jr. showcased his alpha status in the Colts offense, tallying 109 receptions for over 1,100 yards on 156 targets in 16 games, averaging 12.2 fantasy points per game. Despite limited touchdown production, Pittman Jr. commanded a 33% air yards share and a 30% target share, boasting a high floor with potential for improved touchdown in 2024, especially if Anthony Richardson elevates the offense. Pittman Jr. stands to benefit. The addition of Adonai Mitchell in the draft could enhance the overall offense output without significantly impacting Pittman's target share. He's a dog. He's the number 1 for that team. Anthony Richardson is going to make a point to get that ball to Michael Pittman Jr. And having the best strength of schedule for a quarterback within the top 25 and a very good schedule for the wide receiver, it's worth a stack. It's worth a stack. Okay? That's what I can tell you. It's worth a stack. All right, people, let's move on, and I'll put this back up again. Oh. Well, here we go. Number 12, Drake London. Okay, this is another stack I'm talking about. Kirk Cousins had the 3. I told you last week. Kirk Cousins, as you see him right here, at number 18, he has a 3. He has an average schedule, which is fine. It beats a 2 or a 1, which is fine. And then you have Drake London at 4-4. That's worth a stack. Okay, that's worth a stack. That's why I'm showing you these things, people. That's why I'm showing you strength of schedule for the quarterback, strength of schedule for the wide receiver. The two go together. The two go together. Okay? If you can get Drake London and Kirk Cousins later in the draft, Drake London's probably a second round pick, and Kirk Cousins later in the draft, come on, man. I'm trying to help you here. It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. Okay? You make it simple as possible. You got a 4 in strength of schedule for the wide receiver, a 3 strength of schedule for that quarterback. They go together. They go together in a new offense. In a new offense that's going to be more open, more dynamic. To me, that's a no-brainer. Okay? Let's move on to the next one, which would be number 11, and that would be Mr. Chris Olave. I like this wide receiver. I know a lot of people don't like Derek Carr. I understand it. They don't like Derek Carr. I understand it. Okay. But Olave has a good schedule. And guess what? Guess what? Look at this, people. Look at this. Derek Carr, I have him at 25. Look where his strength of schedule is as 4. You got a quarterback that's got a 4. You got a wide receiver that's got a 3. That's a good combination, in my opinion. That's a decent, not optimal, not like Richardson and Pittman. It's not optimal, but it's a good combination. Derek Carr is a number 2 quarterback. Okay. All right. Maybe you're not a starting quarterback, but if you're in a 2 quarterback league, you grab him. You know, this is what I'm saying here, people. This is what you can do. Okay. Just think about this scenario. You possibly grab Michael Pittman Jr. and Chris Olave, depending on availability. And you have them on your lineup. It's a 2 quarterback league. You grab Anthony Richardson within the first 6 rounds, and you grab Derek Carr very late. 2 quarterback league, you got Anthony Richardson, you got Derek Carr, you got Michael Pittman Jr., and you got Chris Olave in your lineup. You got a double stack. Oh, baby. And favorable. They have favorable schedules. So you're looking for good production from 2 quarterbacks and their wide receivers. Their number 1 wide receivers. Come on, people. Like I said, this is not trigonometry. This is simple math. 1 plus 1 equals 2. Come on. That's what I'm trying to give you here. Okay? Let's move on to number 10. I know people will say, well, you got a rookie at number 10? Yeah, well, this guy can be an exception. Hall of Fame dad, and he's been trained by one of the best, Marvin Harrison Jr. I have him at number 3. I haven't Kyler Murray has a strength of schedule at where I have Murray at number 2. Okay, so I mean, I wouldn't say this is a very good stack. People may want to try to do this, try to push the envelope. I can't blame you if you do. But it's not something I would recommend. I think Kyler Murray's going to have a good year, but his strength of schedule is at 2, which is a bad schedule. Not the worst, but it's a bad schedule. I don't know if at number 3 type of schedule that Marvin Harrison Jr. can make up for that. Let's move on to the next one. And I don't have Devontae Adams quarterback anywhere in the top 25. Ain't happening. Okay. So this is a lone pick, meaning you pick Devontae Adams in the 3rd round. I wouldn't go for the 2nd round. I think that's too much draft capital to draft him in the 2nd round. I think his outlook, despite him shining in Las Vegas, despite the quarterback changes and a 45% air yard share and a league-leading 33% target share with 103 receptions and 175 targets, he had 1,100 yards and had 8 touchdowns. And he showcased his red zone prowess with the 2nd most targets in the NFL. Despite turning 31, he's another one turning 31. Adams remains a reliable fantasy wide receiver 2, displaying his quarterback-proof consistently. Okay? I have Devontae Adams at number 9. Okay? Let's move on to the Puka. I already talked about Matthew Stafford having a 4 and Cooper Kupp having, along with Puka, a 3 strengths of schedule, and I think that's worth a stack. So I really don't need to go into because it's just he had one hell of a year, and he's in an offense that he's going to benefit from with the quarterback and the other wide receiver in Cooper Kupp. No need for me to go any further than that. Let me talk about this guy at number 8 with a 4 strength of schedule. A 4 strength of schedule. His quarterback has a 2. This is another one that may be worth a stack. You're definitely going to grab the wide receiver. And later on in your draft, are you going to grab Aaron Rodgers? Make it a stack. Aaron Rodgers coming off an Achilles injury. Buyer beware. I thought I have to say buyer beware. Wilson has a favorable schedule. He's got a 4, which is great. Good, a very good schedule. Very good schedule. Strength of schedule. Aaron Rodgers has a 2. Meaning the defense he's going up against, the strength of schedule for a quarterback is tough. It's going to be tough. 40 plus, is he going to be able to come through for Garrett Wilson? Jets are dependent on it. Are you going to depend on it? Buyer beware. I'm just saying. Okay. Let's move on to the next guy at number 7, A.J. Brown. Okay. A.J. Brown had a solid season, ranking 5th among wide receivers with an average of 14.8 yards per game. He had a lot of big play abilities with 105 receptions with over 1,400 yards, 7 touchdowns. However, we all know he struggled towards the end of the season, outscored by Devontae Adams after week 11. And the Eagles definitely in the late season collapsed. Now, they had changes in the coaching staff. Kellen Moore, the new offensive coordinator. There's uncertainty about Brown's production in 2024 and if the team continues to struggle. Okay. Have the rest of the league caught up with the Eagles? Is the best of what we saw with A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, a thing of the past? Is Kellen Moore going to be able to revive that offense? Jury's still out. The jury is still out. Hurts has a 2 in his strength of schedule. Brown has a 2 in his strength of schedule. Buyer beware. You gotta be able to enjoy the talent, but is it worth a stack? I don't think so. But it's worth grabbing AJ Brown. You have an opportunity. It's worth grabbing AJ Brown. How about Justin Jefferson at a 3? Okay. Quite naturally, Sam Darnold or J.J. McCarthy are not in the top 25. And J.J. showcases elite talent in 2023, finishing 5th in points per game, despite missing 7 games and losing starter Kirk Cousins with 68 receptions for over 1,000 yards and 5 touchdowns. Quite naturally, he commanded a 28% target share and excelled even without Cousins on the field. That was with Josh Dobbs and the other backup, averaging 18.4 points per game in the final stretch. Before Cousins' injury, he led all wide receivers in fantasy points, scored 21.7 per game. Heading into 2024, Jefferson's ability to thrive regardless of the quarterback situation positions him as one of the top NFL wide receivers, supported by the offensive infrastructure set up by Kevin O'Connell, who happens to be the offensive coordinator / head coach. Okay. Sam Darnold looks to be in the driver's seat to be the quarterback 1 to start the season. Now, you saw last season that you got decent quarterback play, and that was able to sustain Justin Jefferson and the rest of those cast of characters in the offense on Minnesota Vikings, minus T.J. Hawkinson when he got hurt. I think they can do it again. I think this is one of these coaches that can get the best out of whatever quarterback they have under center. I like him. I can't. He's one of these wide receivers that, in my opinion, if the quarterback has got decent ability, he doesn't have to have outstanding ability. He has the ability to make plays. Then Justin Jefferson is going to thrive. All right, people. I got this guy. Man, I love this guy. Amon-Ra St. Brown, the sign of consistency. He had a standout season, people. Had a standout season. And Jared Goff has a 4 strength of schedule. Amon-Ra St. Brown, you see it. He has a 4. I can't see outside of any kind of injury from either Goff or Brown that this offense with this passing attack is not going to be able to thrive. He finished 3rd among wide receivers with 247.5 fantasy points and averaged 16.5 fantasy points per game. He showcased his reliability with 112 receptions for 1,371 yards and 9 touchdowns. 12.2 yards per reception average. St. Brown commanded a 30% target share and 34% air yard share. His impressive performance earned him a lucrative 4-year, $120 million contract extension, making him the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL at the time. This is a guy who's a sign of consistency with a great, not excellent, but a great strength of schedule along with their quarterback. Talking about stack. You got to stack these. You can get Jared Goff later in the draft. Now, I wouldn't say it as an afterthought, but as an afterthought. And this is like stealing money. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown in the first round or whatever. First round. I can't see him being in the first round. You got Jared Goff in the middle rounds, 7, 8, maybe 9. Yeah, 7, 8, maybe 9, and you're going to get the kind of fantasy production with both of them on your team. Come on, man. You can't make this up. It's not hard. It's not hard. Okay. And number 3. All right. Jamar Chase. Cornerstone of the Bengals offense. Coming off a stellar season with 100 receptions and 1,200 yards. Despite finishing as a wide receiver 13, his true potential shown when Joe Burrow averaged 16.2 points per game and ranking as a wide receiver 6 from week 1 to week 10. With his consistent red zone presence leading the NFL in red zone targets per game over the last 2 seasons, Chase is poised for a wide receiver status, a position. Wide receiver 1 status, a position historically correlated with dominating red zone opportunities. Come on. Joe Burrow has a 2. Jamar Chase has a 2. This may be an exception to the rule if you want to stack these people. You know what the kind of production is. You know, even against tough competition, that they're able to dominate. Okay? I'm just saying. All right? All right, let's move on to the last 2. I love this guy. No matter what happens, he seems to pull the best out of his ability. Tyreek Hill had a hell of a fantasy season, finishing 2nd overall among wide receivers with nearly 300 fantasy points and averaging just shy of 20 points per game. Now, quite naturally, he showcased his deep threat ability with over 1,700 receiving yards and 12 touchdowns, averaging a leading 3.72 yards per route run. Despite turning 30, Tyreek Hill's performance suggests he's still at the top of his game. You got Puka, who is, you got Tua, who's the 2. Tyreek Hill, this is another quarterback stack, wide receiver stack that may be an exception to the rule. They're back-to-back. This offense, this quarterback and wide receiver combination are deadly, and warrants a stack. Okay? And last but not least, as we wind down the hour, the number 1 wide receiver, the CeeDee Lamb. 335 fantasy points and averaging 19.7 points per game. He hauled in 135 receptions for over 1,700 yards and 14 total touchdowns. And he quite naturally, he dominated with those yards. And it extended to the red zone, a key predictor of elite wide receiver fantasy seasons, but regression may be expected in 2024 due to Dallas's red zone usage and pass to rush touchdown ratio trends. The Cowboys had a negative red zone pass rate over expectations in 2023. Over the last 12 seasons, no wide receiver that has led the league in red zone targets has finished higher than wide receiver 3 the following season. Lamb is expected to hold out while and contract negotiations. Let me put it this way. Jerry Jones said he didn't see urgency in signing CeeDee Lamb. Really? CeeDee Lamb is your offense, you dummy. You dummy. CeeDee Lamb is your offense. No CeeDee Lamb, no big offense, no big games for Dak Prescott. CeeDee Lamb's got a 3. Dak Prescott has got a 2. I'm not as high on these 2 in a stack as in Jamar Chase over Tyreek Hill and Tua and Joe Burrow. I'm not or golf for that matter. All right, people. Next week is tight ends. Next week will be tight ends. Okay. And I want to thank you for listening to me. I want to thank you for staying with me. And tune in next week, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Well, I'll be back here at 10 talking about tight ends. And we'll get through this, people. Fantasy season, it's coming up quickly. Pay attention to your preseason games. Try to catch as many preseason games as you possibly can. Just get an idea. I know preseason games are not the real thing, and they can be boring, but they can also be beneficial. You can pick up some valuable knowledge in your preseason games. Okay. With that being said, see ya.